Last but not the least, New Age Association facts that you need to know. Of course, over the days, we did talked about different facets of the association, how the whole idea is to how we make this association more effective, so that and how we run this like any other normal organization is concerned. So to talk about that, we have two prominent speakers, Dr. P. Raghu, Vice President, the Association of Breast Surgeons of India. Dr. Raghu, a highly skilled oncoplastic breast surgeon from Hyderabad, is amongst the very few in the world to have acquired the prestigious FRCS from all 4 Royal Colleges in British Isles, London, Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Ireland. List goes on, Dr. Raghu. He conceived, designed, and established Indian subcontinent's first freestanding, purpose-built, and comprehensive center for breast health in 2007, KIMS Usha Lakshmi Center for Breast Disease at Krishna Institute of Medical Science, KIMS, in Hyderabad. He served as editorial secretary of Indian Association of Surgical Oncology, largest organization in India that represents surgical oncologists from all over the country. Dr. Raghu, thank you for joining us. I call upon President of International Federation of Aging, Dr. K.R. Gangadharanan, who I can also talk about, take the liberty of our friend, my friend, if I may say so, Dr. Dr. Gangadharanan is the President of the International Federation of Aging, having served as board, so he is one of the few Indian to become the President of this international body based out of Canada. For over 8 years, he was the head of operation of CDR Health Group and Chief Executive of Medwin Hospital and General Manager of Apollo Hospital, Chennai during 93 to 94 period, prior to which he served as the head of Industrial Relation of Hindustan Motors, Chennai, and Personal Officer, Lucas TVS, Chennai. He is Management Consultant to Industries Hospital. He is involved in establishment of hospital in the country. I am particularly amazed by him, how he manages so many roles in so many different subjects, because I met him in human resource development to aging now. So thank you, both of you. And today's discussion, as you know, that we are trying to understand that how we can take the association to the next level. What are this New Age Association? Dr. Ram, if you would like to throw some light.
Yeah, I trained in the UK. Of course, I graduated from India and then I went to UK and I subspecialized in breast surgery. At that time, breast surgery was just emerging as a subspecialty in the United Kingdom. And then my mother had breast cancer and I wanted to come back. And Dr. Siddharth is here. He would agree with me that in India, there are very few breast specialists. There are very few breast centers. The concept of breast surgery as a subspecialty was non-existent. We don't have a dedicated society dealing with breast diseases, not necessarily cancer, but breast diseases. So basically, when I came back, as you rightly pointed out, we started a dedicated freestanding comprehensive center. And equally, although there will be very few people doing exclusively breast work, there are surgeons, general surgeons, who do the majority of breast practice. The breast cancer or breast diseases is managed by general surgeons. And basically, these general surgeons are not up to date with what is happening in the subspecialty of breast surgery, because a lot has gone into the development of the subspecialty. So we started an association, which is called the Association of Breast Surgeons of India, which comprises of general surgeons, surgical oncologists, and plastic surgeons. All these three group of doctors from these three different areas do breast work. And therefore, the idea was to get this association formed. And it was a Herculean effort for me, because if I was to get this ball rolling, we were looking at members to join in. So therefore, I targeted our largest association of surgeons in this country, which is the Association of Surgeons of India, which has 15,000 surgeons. So there's a ready-made platform. So to get this proposal approved by the governing council and by the general body, it took me 3 years. And fortunately, it was approved. Although there was a lot of resistance, why breast surgery, why breast surgeons? So all that, to cut a long story short, it got approved. Now we have close to 600 members. And we feel that this is a beginning to develop breast surgery as a subspecialty in this country.
Congratulations, doctor. In fact, today we wanted to actually concentrate more on subject which are bothering association. Let's say, talking about incorporating an association in India. Now, there are different rules. There are central, there are state rules. How difficult is it to set up an association? You have been instrumental in setting up societies.
First of all, let me thank Prashant for inviting me here. Probably for the third year I'm coming for his Congress. And
that shows that we are doing something right.
You are doing very, very well. Thank you for inviting me here. And nice to have Dr. Raghu sitting here with 3 FRs. He is not something which normal human beings can get. He's an extraordinary gentleman. Nice to have him along with us here. Yes, he was talking about formation of associations. I think I'm not sounding cynical, but you can start any number of associations in this country. It's not difficult. It's not at all difficult. The question is sustaining them. I think we are all talking about professional associations here today. I think majority of the organizations that I've heard, they're all professional bodies. There are also set of associations in this country which are other than professional, which probably talks about, I'm happy to see Meera sitting here from Alzheimer's Association. I think you are talking about bodies where human beings are involved with sickness. I'm just taking one association. I represent a body internationally on aging, which is an exclusive subject with nothing to do with the profession. There are also associations of mentally handicapped, physically handicapped, variety of associations. Where do they go for money? And since you are talking about fundraising and other things, starting this association are plenty. And you look at, I'm a professionally qualified social worker. There are any number of professional social workers associations in this country. I'm not finding any of them in this meeting. But the question is, I think forming association in this country is very easy, in this particular country, but there is no consistency. I think what Prashant has asked is a very right question. There is no consistency in what we do. There is no continuity in what we do. We all do associations. When we are talking about, public relations societies, conducting annual conferences, they are finding it difficult to conduct conferences because of lack of sponsorship. I think I am doing an international conference next year in India, in Hyderabad on aging. I think we go through the troubles. In fact, I wanted to intervene and tell Prashant the very unique experience we have in International Indian Society for Training and Development. Though it's a little out of context, I will still like all of you to know something. There is an organization in this country which said, you have got excess money in this conference, we want all the money come back to the companies. Very unique feature that's come this year for us. That company said, you have got excess money, give it back to the companies because we gave the money for holding the conference, not for building an institution. I mean, this is going to be one of the new challenge. If this is going to be known to 10 other associations, like now I announced it today, if 10 more organizations come to know, that could be a new challenge that could face because people are going to ask, did you really spend it for right purpose? So that's another challenge that you're going to have because associations are coming up thinking they will also make money in this. So forming an association, mushrooming of association could also be a challenge. Sure. Incorporation is not going to be a big challenge as I see it.
Doctor, how many, of course, you run your programs and everything. Is the situation like service tax, income tax issue bothers you or there are issue? How many associations here from Chennai, from Madras? If you could raise hand. And is it true, I was just told today, that all of your Section 12A has been cancelled? Is that right? Or revoked? Yeah, if you could identify and then speak. You have to put on, yes.
President, the Tamil Chamber of Commerce, 70 years old organization, interestingly started by the first finance minister, Dr. R.K. Shanmugam in Nehru government, Jawaharlal Nehru government. We have received the cancellation of that 12A. After that, our appeal and other High Court, we went High Court, some of the associations also, Chamber of Commerce. Now they raised, they fixed a ceiling of 10 lakhs first, then 25 lakhs, something like that. Exemption. But peculiarly, this Tamil Nadu only, this income tax department raised this. No
So
other
it
state.
is restricted to Tamil Nadu only.
But we
At the
raised in
moment.
New Delhi also. In FICCI.
Sir, you would like to make a point.
In Bombay also it has been cancelled. Bombay Chamber it has been cancelled. Really.
So is it only with the Chamber of Commerce or is it affect to the association also? Is there any particular association? I'm not talking about Chamber of Commerce. Of course, we heard from Chamber of Commerce.
Why
Any
has
association?
it been cancelled? What is the reason?
Their 12A has been cancelled.
Why?
Any reasons been given, sir?
Surplus. But Prashant, I must tell you something.
Okay.
I must tell you something here which will be relevant. We have all India organizations which are incorporated, let's say, in Delhi. Now they form associations across the country. And they are not registered in associations across the country. They go by the bylaw of the national. They go by the national bylaw. Now suddenly the income tax department in the last 2 to 3 years of time have asked all these institutions to obtain certificate from the respective states or respective chapters if they are located in a place other than where it is registered. So there, what is happening, any money that you generate in a local chapter can be taxed because it is not registered in the local organization. It's a new situation that's come in the last 2 to 3 years of time. I don't think anybody has paid attention to this, including Indian Society for Training and Development, where we have been deliberating this for the last 2 years' time. I mean, the confusion that we are having is, I am operating in Hyderabad chapter or Chennai chapter under the bylaws of Delhi, where I am registered. Now, the moment the government income tax department says, I'm not going to let you run a chapter unless you register, then I have to get de-linked. I have to have a separate chapter registered in Hyderabad. Then I'm going to lose my national level membership. All of them who are now contributing to the national will pay only to the chapter. So we are all caught. We don't know how to move further. So it's a new situation that's come in some chapters, unless the chapters are already registered and then get appointed.
Yeah, we are actually privileged in a way that we are a section of the larger association. I told you, the Association of Surgeons of India. So we are a section of the Association of Surgeons of India. So we are we send our audited accounts to the National Association and they submit our accounts. But what I've been told by our parent body is that unless we demonstrate that we have done some charity work, from now on, there is going to be an issue with this 12A and ATG recognition. Otherwise, they might remove it. Because if we are not demonstrating that we are doing charity, we are also supposed to not just make money, but we are also supposed to do some charity work, is what I've been told.
Okay.
The corollary to that has come up is that the charity work could also be for tax exemption for that thing, educational or academic work, in which as a subcommittee of let's say my main National Cardiac Anesthesia Society, if I'm running an educational and research cell or a college under the premises of the national body as a subcommittee of that, then charity for poor or academic or educational or research activity for all its members in a free way is also for tax exemption. That's the corollary that's come up.
Right.
Okay.
It's very recent. It's just 3 years old.
So we need more update on this. What about an issue of service tax? How many people face issues in terms of clarity issues? Because I know I interact with a lot of association and there are service tax on the membership fee, service tax on the conference fee, some of them charging, some of them not charging. What is your understanding? Is there anybody wants to talk about any specific thing?
It remains unresolved. If you have seen some of the conferences you have been organizing for others also, it remains unresolved. I think some companies which give you delegates, they pay service charge.
Yes,
don't pay.
please, sir.
For the membership, it's not applicable. Whereas the service tax for the consultancy or the service tax for any other form wherein you are imparting or transferring the knowledge to the other party, it attracts a service tax. And you got to be registered in the service tax. If you don't, you will get a notice. And if you get a notice, he said about for the last 15 years, we are fighting a case for the last 15 years with the income tax as well as service tax. It will go on.
Which association, sir, from IEEE side?
Not IEEE only. I'm associated with an association.
Oh, okay.
At least 5 of them are in problem. 5 of them in problem. As he rightly said, the moment you got to be registered, you can't be functioning. It was all gone all those days. We were running the show unregistered. Unregistered organizations were not attracting. The moment funds started coming, and especially when there is a problem in south side with a Kudangalam, let me be open. Then all of a sudden the finance ministry woke up and it's all started going to. Now the service tax is a local requirement. You got to be registered, you have to pay it, and its deadline is 10th of every month. The moment you get a check, before depositing, you better enter it in your computer so that you are safe. For all kind of consultancy, training, training also attracts service tax. Only thing which is not attracting service tax is membership. That too, when you are filing the income tax returns, you cannot save more than 15%. Maximum allowed is 15% of your total income. And that is carryover, as sir says. Rest of the thing has got to be shown against as expenses towards the development and towards the membership services. It's very clearly says, we are fighting the case and it will go on. Doesn't matter. Before...
So you are ready for a long battle.
It will take time.
Anybody else wanted to comment or any problem that you are facing that you want to discuss in this forum? Yes, sir. Please identify yourself.
I am Professor Janaya from an institution called Public Institution with Acharya N.G. Ranga Agriculture University, Hyderabad. Just we are organizing the event called World Agriculture Forum Congress in November this year in Hyderabad. We have facing 2 problems. It's a public institution. It is not an association, but it's an institution with 60 years old, publicly funded institution. When we are getting a sponsorship from different industry, they are deducting 20% income tax. They said, no, you have to pay. There is no exemption even for public institutions for this type of conference. I don't know, maybe somebody can help us under any section or anything. And of course, they are asking a PAN number, but generally public institutions, at least to my knowledge, we don't have PAN number. We have only TAN number. Unless you have PAN number, I think we have to pay for that. The second thing is, as far as this VAT and service tax is applicable on delegate fees, registration fees. I think this is a must. I think our CA, chartered accountant also told you have to collect and you have to pay for it from the organization side. I think these are the things we would like to share with all of you.
In fact, these are the issues. Yes, gentlemen, quickly.
I'm Gautam Biswas. Just 2 things I would like to say. One is that we are running, I'm a plastic surgeon and in Tata Medical Center, and we are having an international meeting sometime next year, and there was an issue of whether they can be part of the National Association and use the ATG exemption. And we've been told it is not possible to share unless you fund that money or the checks that are going to come in goes to the National Association. That creates a loss of autonomy for the world society because the money has to go back because you're going to get dollars. So there is a lot of complication and a very gray areas around this. This thing about ATG exemptions in sharing your PAN cards. So you will have to have your own PAN card, register for that. You can take it for a short spell and have your accounts straight. So you can't link up with the national body in that way.
I think, what we do as an association, we are a section of a larger body. In our bylaws, we have incorporated that if we organize, say if I organize a conference in Hyderabad, all the expenditure remaining after spending the amount must go back to the parent body. I can't keep a single rupee according to the bylaws of our constitution. So therefore, we don't have this issue. We don't have this problem.
No. What I'm saying is, your world body has a different bylaw. Your national body has a different bylaws. They cannot be merged. You can be holding the national conference, that's different. But if you're holding it for an international body,
of course,
you cannot link up and say that we are the same body.
But the international body is giving you recognition, the authority to organize it here, isn't it?
No, it's not you, because the international body is having it in India. That's it.
So it's being organized by the international body.
No, I absolutely agree with you, and these are the confusion, and that was, we were actually contemplating to create a separate session under association network to address this legal issues and taxation issues, because it's very complex. Without an expert into the field, it's very difficult to answer this, and there are, every now and then there are changes in law and interpretation of the law. It's not about law all the time, it's the interpretation, how we do. So we will keep that suggestion in mind. Is there anybody else before we... yes, lady, is not spoken.
Sorry.
Yeah, my name is Meera. I'm from the Alzheimer's and Related Disorders Society of India, as Dr. Gangadharanan just said. My organization is about 20 years old, and we are managing, we cater for persons with Alzheimer's disease and their families. So where do we get the money? We are a welfare organization. We have been having annual conferences. We have chapters around India. So we allow the chapters to host these conferences. We've been managing that way. But what about running the national office? We have a national office in Delhi. We just started one. So how do we sustain that? That is a huge challenge for us. For the conferences, we have some of the pharma companies coming in and others to do that. But on an everyday basis for years together, that has been our biggest challenge, to run the organization, because who's our clientele? Persons with dementia. So we're not going to get anything from them. So that is a bigger challenge for us to sustain it, especially the administrative costs of the national office.
Two things that I can offer, actually, with your permission, is that, number one, before you opened the office, I'm sure there's some thought process has gone into it, sustenance. Second question, actually the person behind you will be able to answer. You should talk to him one-to-one, Dr. Sani, how to think out of box. Not, of course, as you mentioned correctly, that person with dementia, they can't sponsor you. And the sponsorship from the pharma companies are not going to be abandoned, that you will continue to get fund. They may get fund, give you fund when the conference is going on, where they have eyeball connect with the people. But when you are not doing it for your administrative services, it's not the pharma company going to do it, unless the story is told in a different way. So I think maybe a good idea over this, speak to Sani and other people, those who have spoken, and maybe they'll be able to help. And alternatively, then we are back again tomorrow. So I'm sure he'll be able to address and find some solution. Thank you so much, audience, for the time, and our panelists. We have two things to announce. Basically, one is our panel discussion, and this was for the first time that we have started this roundtable. basically we realized that in this meeting, when we are talking about general subject, which may interest some of you, and some of the subject may not interest you, so we created this roundtable for like-minded people, and where you can meet your other like-minded organization. So there are 6 of them in different subjects, from medical to transportation to industry to IEEE, of course, we have separately, Convention Visitor Bureau. So the idea was to bring them together so that they can discuss if the synergy they could create and take their association to the next level, or some joint effort happens. So for more business or more activities that you could, as we mentioned earlier, it's time to come back together. There could be a different association in the same subject. So pull in all your strength and make it work. So that is one. And also next year for the Indian Association Congress, we will be traveling to Jaipur. I wish and I hope all of you in the counter of outside could register your interest. And we thought it's a city, pink city, and we all the associations going to be in the pink of their health. And next year, this event is going to be on 22nd and 23rd. And Jaipur not only close to Delhi, but also offer a great offsite, as Sampasap mentioned. So you could come with the family also. And so the family will have something to do apart from the conference.